Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's super webinar number 2. I am Amanda Harmoning. I am an admin assistant here at AERA, and I will be moderating today's event along with 2 of my colleagues from AERA, Rob Monroe and Steve Fox.
Hey everyone, Rob Monroe here. I look after membership and technical development at AERA, and I'm really excited for today's event, this super webinar too. We've got 4 presenters. I mean, to have these guys at this caliber all together on one day for this one event is a real treat for us. So what's going to happen is Amanda, Steve, and I are going to be in the background to help answer any questions that you have throughout the webinar. And a little bit different format than our usual webinars. What we're going to do is each presenter is going to have a Q&A session at the end of each of their presentations. And then what we'll do is we'll bring them all back on at the end of the day as well. We're going to have a little round table, and we'll have a chance to answer more of your questions at the end of the day for that. And if you want, you could place your question in the questions box. And what Amanda will do is she'll show you how to use that questions box. And then we ask that if you could please keep all of your questions technical related in nature, and then we'll do our best to get everybody's questions answered. So Amanda will explain how to use that control panel. That'll be that little thing that's up on your right-hand part of your screen that you can expand and dock back up there. So what I'll do is I'll let Amanda explain that. But for right now, I'll go over to Steve, and I'll let Steve introduce himself. So hey, Steve, how's it going this morning?
Good. How you doing, Rob?
Really good.
Good. First of all, welcome everybody. Appreciate you taking the time to be on our super webinar 2 today. My name is Steve Fox. I take care of the daily operations here at AERA as well as work on the tech line. So I'm sure I've talked to some, if not most of you throughout the years here at AERA. But again, appreciate you taking the time to be on the line with us today. I'm going to turn it back over to Amanda. She's got some housekeeping to go through with everybody. So Amanda, take it away.
All right, we'll keep this quick here so we can keep moving. First off, there are a couple ways, to listen in to today's webinar. The first is to dial in via phone. If you do this, just make sure you have that button selected and you enter that access code and audio pin. This will make sure that your line stays muted and you don't have any issues hearing the presentation. The other way is to listen in with your computer, mic, and speakers. Again, just make sure you have the appropriate button selected. Otherwise, you will not be able to hear. And lastly, if you are having any audio issues, go ahead and either type a question in the questions box and let me know, or shoot me an email. I will be watching my email during the webinar, and I will do my best to help you so we can get you back on and listening in to today's presenters. Couple other things really quick. The first off, there is a little orange box, and you can use that to collapse and expand your control panel. This is great for during the presentation. It just gets that out of your way so you can view in full screen mode. And then lastly, the most important part is that questions box. If at any point you have any questions, comments, like I said, audio issues, anything like that, you can put those in the box, and Rob, Steve, and myself will be watching all that in the background and get that taken care of for you. And then those questions we will use for our Q&As with each of the presenters. So at this time, I'm going to hand things back over to Rob, and we'll keep moving with today's presentation.
Super. Yeah, thanks, Amanda. So just a couple slides to go through here real quick before we bring on the presenters for a proper introduction. For those of you that are watching today and don't really know who we are, I mean, AERA, we've been around since 1922. So we're an association that has parts suppliers, we have schools, government agencies, engine builders. We have over 2,000 members worldwide. And we've been around, like I mentioned, for a very long time. So when we look at these slides here, we can see that even back in 1926, we had events that were going on then very similar to what we had today. So the whole idea of today is to get everybody together, do a little bit of a networking session. We all realize that, especially with COVID, I mean, there's no PRI show this year. We haven't been able to have our regionals like we normally would. So presenters like we have today, we would typically have at some of our regionals, and you'd be able to see these guys face to face. But unfortunately, this virtual format is what we had to do today for you. But I mean, again, it's just nice to get together to network. This is how we really do learn from each other. Hopefully, some of the information today you'll be able to take right back into your shop or your business and apply it and use that right away. So It's nice to have everybody on today. Now, even with COVID, all of us at AERA, I mean, we're still running at full throttle. We're available on the tech line from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, and there's 5 techs are there, and everybody's busy. So it's nice to see shops that are busy. The phone calls that we're getting are anything from single cylinder Kohler engines right up to the to the big Caterpillar stuff. So give us a call. I mean, that's why you have membership. Take advantage of that membership. Call us for any of your engine needs that way. Anything from looking up injection pump timing, or a question that you maybe even have, like a lower ball joint on your wife's car that you're changing or something like that. By all means, that's all the information that we can help you out with. So we look forward to helping you with that. Something else we have on the go is our Engine Professional magazine, and our Q1 edition. We just wrapped that up, so that's going to be that first quarter in 2021. And that is jam-packed with all kinds of application-driven articles. So you're going to see that in your mailboxes soon. And also our Q4, you would have gotten that, probably about a month or so ago now. And we do have a digital version of that is available. So you can go to our engineprofessional.com website and just type that in. You can actually read the digital version of Engine Professional magazine right there. One of the other things we like to do is on today's webinar, if you're not receiving Engine Professional magazine and you would like to, just go ahead in the questions box and let Amanda know that you'd like to receive that, and she'll make sure to get you your copy to you, and we'll get you a subscription to that and get you looked after. So by all means, you can do that. All right, so let's just have a quick look at how today shapes up. I mean, it is a full day event, so we have lots going on. What we're going to do is we're going to have some opening remarks and some speaker introductions, so we'll get to know everybody a little bit. And then starting at 10:30, we're going to have our presentation number 1. So Chuck Barnett's from Durabond is going to speak about metal valve seat materials. Between each presentation, there will be a bit of a break. We'll allow you to get up, maybe stretch your legs for just a little bit. We're going to have lots of prizes to give away, so don't stretch your legs for too long, because Steve's got all kinds of really good prizes he's going to go through and give away, so that'll be good as well. 11:45, that's where we're going to have Dan Begle from Mahle. He's going to speak about engine bearing designs and function. Our presentation number 3 at 1 o'clock will be Russ Hayes from Jasper, and he's going to talk to you about everything you ever want to know about piston profiles. So Russ will do that, and very knowledgeable, and looking forward to that presentation as well. A little bit of a break at 2:15, presentation number 4, and Alan Konecnik from Sunnen. He's going to speak to you about hone head maintenance and how it affects bore geometry. So I have seen this presentation, lots of good slides there, lots of good information on that. So looking forward to Alan's presentation as well. Then what we're going to do at 3:15, we're going to have a little wrap up. So any of those questions or any of the live chat that you've ever wanted to ask some of these gentlemen, by all means, that's the time to do it. All 4 of them will be on, and we're going to have some questions for them at that point. And like I say, looking forward to giving away some nice prizes. Thank you to everybody. All of our presenters have donated prizes for this, so we do appreciate that, and thank you. So right now what I'll do is enough of me chatting. I'm going to bring on Chuck, Dan, Russ, and Alan and talk with everybody. So how's everybody doing today? How's everything going?
Oh, well, thank you.
Good. Yeah. So I thought I'd bring everybody on, just get to give everybody a chance to get to know you guys just a little bit better, and give you a chance to introduce yourselves and that kind of thing. So, Chuck, I'll kind of go over to you. How are you doing today? And maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself and what's your day-to-day stuff that you do over at Dura-Bond.
So yes, Chuck Barnett. I'm the president owner of Durabond. I've been here at Durabond for 25 years, so a few days at all that, and I've been facilitating the industry with lots of things that they've needed for cam bearings and valve seats and those types of things. It's a great industry, and so we're very anxious to do this today as we've before. We have some good information to pass along. I think this format is a great one that you guys have put together, particularly with the circumstances for travel and so forth. So thank you very much for that. We have about 65 employees here, 85,000 square feet. We're in Carson City, Nevada, close to Reno and Lake Tahoe. We've been here since 1987 at this location. Everything we make is made here in this plant. And so it's a good piece of business and a great bunch of people that go along with us in the industry.
Super. Yeah, no, that's excellent. So you're no snow on the ground for you where you're at right now then, Chuck?
Well, there is about another 1,000 feet up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's
Yep. Yep. And Dan, how about you? What's sort of your what's your role at Mahle, and what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Oh, you're just muted, Dan. You just got to hit your mute button there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. You
All
betcha.
right. Sorry,
Yep.
sorry about that.
That's all right.
Kind of like Chuck, happy to be here. You know, one of the passions I have is education and what AERA does, and you know, reaching out to people on the webinars is the best thing we can do right now, considering the situation. So thank you for having me. And a little bit about myself. You know, my background is I have 40 plus years in professional racing. That I have been in anything from dirt cars to 13 years at Roush Yates, 27 years total in NASCAR as an engine builder. I was the reliability specialist at Roush Yates for the last 9 years before I came to work at Mahle, and my job there was looking at parts and coming up with solutions and fixes and catastrophic or small failures, and analyzing what happened and what failed and how to make the parts better. So coming to Mahle, I kind of do the same thing. I'm the performance sales engineer, so I work with customers. I work with a lot of race teams. I work with production engine rebuilders and look at what kind of problems people are having in the field, and what Mahle has capabilities to create better solutions out there and try to get more reliability, or in racing applications, more horsepower and reliability. So, you know, taking care of all the finding out, because as you get out there, you find that stuff doesn't last like you want it to, and new technologies, new materials, just trying to bring it to the table.
Excellent. No, and so whereabouts are you calling in from today? Where's home base for you?
Home base is in North Carolina. I'm still living down here in the racing community, so if I'm not traveling on the road to the races or production engine builders or something like that, I home office.
Excellent. No, that's excellent. No, super. And Russ, how about you? What things you got rocking and rolling over at Jasper? What's your role there, and what do you do over at Jasper?
I'm really over in R&D. I'm the group leader for first piece inspection, which basically we have to, it's much more than receiving inspection. We actually work with the manufacturers, with our supply folks, so we can find out who actually gets the parts, who actually manufactures them, instead of going to distributors. And then we find out what their capability is, and then we either have a print made, or we will make a print, they sign off. We will do a first piece inspection, and then any type of testing it may be. Maybe engine testing, maybe dyno, maybe out on the field road, maybe just simple mock-ups, depending on what part it is. We do engines, transmissions, differential, stern drives, so there's a lot of things to do. After that passes and the print signed and the parts are good and it's all tested and approved, then it's released over to a QC into production to go forward. Also over product design R&D, my specialty is pistons and engine related components. I have another engineer that's basically works mostly in the transmission area. I've been with Jasper 11 years. I've been working with Jasper. I used to work with Federal Mogul Corporation, and I was a product design engineering manager over Pistons. So I've been working in the automotive aftermarket since 1985, and I've probably been dealing with Jasper since 1987. So it's a good fit.
Wow. Yeah. before the PRI show last year, Russ, I had a chance to come over to Jasper and do a little bit of a tour, and I was just hugely impressed. You can have one thing in your mind as to what you think you'd expect, and with as much volume as you're pumping through there, I mean, just the equipment. I'm a crankshaft guy. I love grinding cranks, and so going through that Berco and seeing all those Bercos that were freshly painted and maintained, and I mean, that was very, very impressive facility. Very impressive. I was in my eyes were wide open, so it was good.
Like one thing that we have to do to be evolving is, 20 years ago, you had several of the vendors and manufacturers in the U.S. And if you needed something, you would go to them or go to their engineering. With the advent of being worldwide and so much stuff overseas and down south, we have to bring that knowledge in here more than what we used to. So that's why we're having a product design, because you really got to find out, especially with today's engines, try to get reliability and oil consumption in good numbers and things like that.
Right. No, that was great. Alan, how are you doing this morning? What's shaking over at Sunnen?
Doing good. No, been fairly busy, even with all the COVID. I mean, I've still been traveling a lot. It seems like what we've heard was all the automotive shops, once everybody figured out there was nothing else to spend their money on, they went out and did things with their cars. So the engine side has stayed busy a lot with the automotive shops. So that's it's been good.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Same with, I mean, if you look at the volume of tech calls that we're getting on the tech line, shops are all busy right now, which is great to see. And you're right, as soon as COVID hit, a lot of the calls turned into more of the project related. We started getting more calls on some of that vintage classic stuff. So it's obviously people are digging out some of those projects and getting those worked on and that kind of thing. So what's that behind you? You got like I can see the old Sunnen. Is that like what is that back there?
That was actually Joe's Sunnen. It's not truly his original car. Same year, Hupmobile. That was what he traveled around in when he invented the lifter remover tool, which started our company. So it's just kind of a conference area. Normally in the office, I live in just a little bitty boring cube. So I moved for the conference here to have a little nicer background and a little more quiet.
Yep.
I've now been with Sunnen just over 25 years. I'm considered a senior lab tech here with emphasis mostly in automotive. And as everybody knows, it wasn't a secret in 2008 and everything. Sunnen took a little bit of a turn and our automotive side did shrink some, but we're still doing all the honing. So that is my major emphasis. And if I'm not traveling, I'm either working on projects for people that were looking to buy machines or doing the tech support for the telephone Rob. So just kind of like you for Sunnen.
Right. Okay. Yep. So I'm sure all of us are definitely missing that handshake and face-to-face that we would typically get at some of the shows this year where we get a chance to see each other. So this is this whole Zoom or GoToWebinar sort of virtual format is all of us our computer skills I'm sure have improved in the last few months. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Definitely.
So do you guys have any, I mean, each one of you just feel free, but anything new coming down the pipe that, from a new product or any new technologies or machines or anything that you want that we should know about, or is there anything new out there, guys, that you can think of?
Well, we do a lot in transmissions, so that's a constant. They make the transmissions lighter and lighter, and not normally we have to redesign parts. So we're kind of into that now because, we're having some durability issues that we see from the cores coming in. Also, in the last several years, our emphasis has kind of went to the later model engines. So other than the COVID probably pushing us back about 3 to 4 months, as far as R&D schedule, we're putting out 2017 engines as far as R&D, and that's exciting.
Yeah, no, that is exciting. Are any of you guys finding is good help hard to find right now? Have you got more help than you need, or is it a case of where you could use more help? What are you seeing in in each one of your facilities? What is it? I know on the tech line, we're getting shops are just starving for help right now. There's, we could sure use a whole much more help. So what are you guys seeing out there? Could you use the help, or are things looking pretty good?
Speaking for Jasper, we've been looking for help for a good while. Currently, I know at this one plant alone, we're seeking 45 people. Our fill rate, normally we like to keep about 85% of our stock in our warehouses and branches. We're probably hovering around 40, 45 now. So help is really needed in a lot of areas.
Okay.
We're starting to be able to pull some in from the other companies who got hit harder from COVID.
Yep.
We're pulling some of those people in here.
Okay. What are you guys seeing as like a growth area right now? And I know maybe a growth for maybe Alan's going to be different than Dan, but is it more, are you seeing more happening on the automotive side, the industrial side, performance side? And what are you guys seeing as, where is your growth market?
Well, I guess for Sunnen, Sunnen Products and Applied Nano Surfaces, in Sweden, we have a joint agreement now, which has given the ANS coating treatment or not a coating, sorry, it's actually a process to Sunnen. So we're doing development there. So that is for the racing industry. It's for reducing friction, longer service wear or less service wear, so longer times. And that's just really getting going. It's an ongoing process, but that's something that we're pretty involved with right now.
Okay. Yep. So is that going to work in conjunction with? Are you going to develop honing equipment, tooling, then to be able to machine the surface, or is it is it more like you're going to be?
It's a process that they're using where. Sorry, it's a process to where they use, instead of something referred to as a stone, they refer to it as a ledge or ledges. That's basically like a carbide and a nano level. So unlike a spray coating or anything that can come off, this can't come off of the part.
Okay. Yep. All right. That sounds. So that's a new process or a new partnership then with you and that company in Sweden then.
ANS. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. No,
Well,
that's good.
Rob,
Yeah.
at Dura-Bond, we've been transitioning to do quite a bit of transmission bushings. So that's part of our core competency, is making cam bearings and then making bushings as well. So much like Russ is saying with Jasper, things seem to be evolving more into the powertrain side of the business than just engines or just transmissions. And so that's something we've been at for the last few years. It's been a significant area for us. And I think as we move forward as industry, whether it be engines, transmissions, the watchword, I guess, forward is powertrain, because powertrain includes all of those pieces, and we've been a bit fractured before, just in engine or just in transmission.
Okay. Yep.
Rob,
That's good to know.
From Mahle's standpoint, kind of like you said earlier, you're getting a lot more tech calls of people working on projects, and being the aftermarket side, Mahle is a huge OEM, which obviously was hit hard with the pandemic. But on the aftermarket side, with as many, you're getting calls, we're actually getting calls with projects and so forth, and so we're doing well. We're putting a lot of technology into developing new gasket lines, both performance and replacement with new technologies. Again, you're going to hear me talk about new technologies because we're always looking what new materials are out there. Bearing designs, piston rings designs. Our plants they're just going crazy with new stuff and keeping up with production right now with reduced hours and so forth. But tremendous growth, absolutely tremendous growth in both performance and production engines, and just keeping up with the parts stores and keeping supplies for them as well. So it's been wonderful.
Right. No, I don't know, sometimes I just want to say that's a good problem to have. Sometimes, but you're probably fielding a lot of calls going, hey, when am I supposed to get those new bearings you promised us?
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I'm sure everybody's felt, you're feeling whether it's getting supplies from raw materials or something like that, everything's changing now. So what project was going really fast now may have slowed down because the raw materials you can't get because of an issue that they're having there. But, we're tediously working on it.
Right. Yep. No, for sure. Well, guys, I know we've got a lot of schools on today. I saw quite a few that have registered. Maybe what would be your suggestion as far as maybe what kind of training or what kind of experience should some of these students have? Let's say they were going to come knocking on Jasper's door, on our Chuck Durabond's door, or over to Mahle or to Sunnen. What would you guys, if you could talk to the students right now, what would you say would be important for them to, what should they be focusing on for training?
As far as Jasper, it depends upon the position we have. Because when you don't have so much unemployment that's available to pull, we really look for a PI index to what actually fits the best job for the person who's applying. But especially if you're looking in the engineering side or some of the R&D facilities, of course, we're looking for engineering tech, hands-on, some background, some projects that may have done before. And, as far as, accountability, one of the things we have for a lot of the new hires may end up being where they don't think there's a lot of turnaround because they don't want to come to come to work every day. And that's just because where we're at is probably about 3% unemployment. But we like people who are open-minded. We want to fit the person with a job. We have growth within our corporation. So if you started off, for an example, we have a new guy that's a mechanical engineer that's in my first piece inspection. So he gets hands-on on all these parts. And he also will be able to go and see what the testing and the fit, form, function for these. And after that, maybe a year or so after he gets a good feel of what it is, he may want to go to something else. And so he'll look internally and see if something else is open. We're always up for that. We have continuous training, constant, and also for the people joining, we have a dojo. So every person that comes in has to go through the dojo, which will be an engine or transmission for at least a week. And what they have to do, the class has got to understand how to measure what's the importance of the product and actually build a transmission or build an engine and then send it out and be to a customer and go through all that. So that helps a lot.
Yep. No, that's good to know. Chuck, what about you? What if a student was coming knocking on your door and said, you know what, I really would like to work for you in a couple of years. What would you be telling them? What sort of thing would you want for them to, what would impress you?
Well, we have a lot of our manufacturing processes are pretty repetitive. However, we do a good amount of CNC work as well now. And so having the ability to be able to shift from different sides of the business, multitasking is really important. So, and it goes down to, unfortunately, the basics. Do you want to learn? Do you want to show up on time? Do you want to come every day? Do you want a future? And those basic things are what you have to look at first. And then hopefully we can groom them through a lot of the process to be multitasking within the company.
Okay. Yeah, that's good advice. Just the basics. I mean, you can have all the degrees in the world, but if you can't show up to work on time, you're not doing us any favors, kind of thing. Dan, how about you? What could you tell a student right now if they were coming looking to have a career with Mahle?
Well, that's kind of interesting because when I was at Roush Yates, I was the hiring manager there, and I did a lot of interviews, a couple hundred interviews with people directly out of schools that are probably watching this today. So You know, and kind of what Chuck said, a big thing is the work ethic. Work ethic to me is huge. Coming from Jasper, Indiana, working at Jasper Engines in my early career, you know, it's opportunities come up, like Russ said. If you work hard, you know, people find you and they help you out and you know, promote you up within. So you know, my background came from Jasper Engines into NASCAR racing, but moving forward, you know, it's exactly just find somebody that's passionate about what they want to do, create a workplace that encourages that, and you know, just keep growing, helping them mature in what they're doing to be part of the business for long term and keep them.
Okay. Yep. Good advice. And Alan, same. You know, what about you? What if someone was knocking on Sunnen's door right now? What do you think would get them in the door? What's going to impress them?
I think you know, it's been said 3 times earlier. Showing up to work every day on time and being there all day is huge. One of the we've seen a little bit of. I don't hire anybody, but I have to train some of the people that they do hire. And you see some of the people come out that they've come out of college or tech schools, and all of a sudden, because they have their degree, they know everything already. There's nothing that I can train them with 25 years of experience. That's a little hard to do with them. You might be, so my thought would be just a little bit open-minded. Listen, some of the people that have been there, sometimes there's things that can be taught to you that are not in a book, you know, and just be open-minded and listen to what everybody has to say. I think it will help you, because once you're there, if you're not going to take input from the older people that are there, then they're going to quit offering it. Then you're going to find out you have a bit of a problem. There's just a ton of knowledge out there. If you just go ahead and absorb it like you did everything while you were in school, I think it's a big plus.
That's a good point. Yeah, I remember a couple of my instructors said, Rob, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so you should be listening twice as much as you're talking. So that was kind of the advice that always stuck with me. But exactly. Well, guys, I appreciate the input. Thank you for the introductions and everything. And what we'll do is we'll have everybody, of course, everybody will all be back on at the end of the day for a little wind up and a little round table, and we'll answer some more questions.